Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to The Voice of the Times for Thursday, October 21, 2021. For today's editorial, new ADB initiative will help boost infrastructure investment. A recently announced program by the Asian Development Bank will significantly enhance investment in sustainable infrastructure, potentially offering a solution to the challenge faced by countries like the Philippines of balancing development with environmental concerns. According to a press release from the ADB on September 30, the Manila-based Multilateral Development Bank is partnering with HSBC, the Singaporean investment holding company Temasek, and Clifford Capital Holdings, which is also based in Singapore, to set up a debt financing platform to boost commercial development of sustainable infrastructure projects in Asia, with an initial focus on Southeast Asia. Under the cooperative agreement, although it is still subject to the outcome of a feasibility assessment, ADB and Clifford Capital Holdings would serve as the strategic partners, with HSBC and Temasek as the equity partners. The main goal of the platform is to improve the bankability of projects that would be normally considered only marginally viable by normal commercial and investment banking standards. This would primarily be achieved by providing concessional capital, along with working with governments to address policy and regulatory constraints on private investments in sustainable infrastructure. According to the ADB, the platform will initially be applied to projects in clean transport, renewable energy, energy storage, water supplies and infrastructure, and waste management. If successful, the platform could be expanded in the future to include climate adaptation projects, agriculture and land use, and technology-led solutions, the ADB explained. ADB Vice President Ahmed M. Saeed added, "As developing countries in Asia transition toward a greener and sustainable future, ADB is stepping up its engagement with governments and other aligned sectors to expand the pool of bankable, sustainable infrastructure projects, increase their risk-return profile, and attract financing from private investors." The ADB will provide technical assistance in project development and sector reforms and work with our partners to use blended finance and other risk mitigation solutions to mobilize sustainable infrastructure financing across Asia. The partnership among ADB, Singapore's sovereign wealth manager, and the private sector is an effective answer to the multiple challenges faced by our region. According to the ADB, developing Asia will need to invest about $1.7 trillion per year between 2016 and 2030 in order to adequately address climate change and persistent poverty while keeping up its economic growth trajectory. Much of that can be achieved through infrastructure development, but public sector financing cannot keep up with demand. Unfortunately, attracting the private sector to investments that are actually needed is a tough sell, as investors with the capacity would rather pick and choose investments based on potential profitability, regardless if those investments are sustainable and practical for the country or not. By the ADB's estimate, up to 65% of Asia's infrastructure projects are not considered bankable and require the expenditure of considerable effort and upfront costs to bring them to a bankable state, if that is even possible. The new platform will help bridge the financing gap by helping countries develop bankable, sustainable infrastructure projects based on global standards, the ADB said, in line with international best practices for environmental, social, and governance, and the safeguard standards set by international finance institutions. The ADB added that it might also work with emerging initiatives to identify sustainable infrastructure projects, such as the Finance to Accelerate the Sustainable Transition Infrastructure Initiative, a joint venture of the HSBC, the International Finance Corporation, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the Global Infrastructure Facility, and the Climate Policy Initiative. Infrastructure development is generally acknowledged to be a key driver of economic progress. When it is done right, it expands direct and indirect business activity, creates jobs, and encourages technology and knowledge transfer. However, climate mitigation and adaptation objectives cannot take a back seat to infrastructure aims. When conflicts between the two occur, one or the other suffers to everyone's detriment. Smart, forward-looking programs such as the one announced by the ADB are an effective solution to that dilemma, one that we hope our government will take full advantage of once it is finalized. And that's the editorial for Thursday, October 21, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the Voice of the Times.